This is the Rambam, Maimonides, in the system of Chabad Lubavitch has a learning program of daily Rambam, and there's two cycles. There's the one chapter a day, and there's the 3 chapters a day. I'm on the 1 a day track, and we're up to Yesodei HaTorah chapter 9. It is clear and explicit in the Torah that it is God's commandment remaining forever, without change, addition, or subtraction, as Deuteronomy 13:1 states, "All these matters which I command you, you shall be careful to perform. You may not add to it or subtract from it." And Deuteronomy 29:28 states, "What is revealed is for us and our children forever, to carry out all the words of this Torah." This teaches that we are commanded to fulfill all the Torah's directives forever. It is also said, "It is an everlasting statute for all your generations," and Deuteronomy 30:12 states, "It is not in the heavens." This teaches that a prophet can no longer add a new precept to the Torah. Therefore, if a person will arise, whether Jew or Gentile, and perform a sign or wonder and say that God sent him to either A, to add a mitzvah, or B, to subtract a mitzvah, C, to explain a mitzvah in a manner which differs from the tradition received from Moses, or D, if he says that the mitzvot commanded to the Jews are not forever, but rather were given for a limited time, he is a false prophet. He comes to deny the prophecy of Moses and should be executed by strangulation because he dared to make statements in God's name which God never made. God, blessed be his name, commanded Moses that his commandment is for us and our children forever, and God is not man that he speaks falsely. Right. Okay. If so, what is meant by the Torah's statement in Deuteronomy 18:18, "I will appoint a prophet from among their brethren, like you, and I will place my words in his mouth, and he will speak"? He is not coming to establish a new faith, but rather to command the people to fulfill the precepts of the Torah and to warn against its transgression, as evidenced by the final prophet Malachi, who proclaimed in 3:22, "Remember the Torah of Moses, my servant." Also, a prophet may command us to do something which is neither permitted nor forbidden by Torah law. For example, go to such and such a place, do not go there. Wage war today, do not do so. Build a wall, do not build it. In these instances, it is a mitzvah to listen to him. Anyone who violates his directives is worthy of death at the hand of God. As Deuteronomy 18:19 states, "And a person who will not heed my words which he speaks in my name, I will seek retribution from him." Similarly, a prophet who violated his own prophetic instructions and one who refrains from prophesying are worthy of death at the hand of God, since concerning the 3 of them it is said, "I will seek retribution from him." Ani edrosh me'imo. When a prophet who has already proven himself to be a prophet instructs us to violate one of the mitzvot of the Torah, or any mitzvot, whether they be of a severe or light nature, for a limited amount of time, it is a mitzvah to listen to him. Wait a minute. When a prophet who has already proven himself to be instructs us to violate one of the mitzvot of the Torah, or many mitzvot, whether they be zero light, that doesn't make sense to me. He said, Rambam is saying, to violate, that doesn't make sense. It says if a prophet instructs us to violate, la'avor al achas b'kol mitzvos amoris b'Torah, all mitzvos harbei, mitzvah shmol, it's a mitzvah to listen to him. If he asks you to violate it, it's a mitzvah to listen to him. That doesn't make any sense. He just contradicted what he was saying. Yeah, but who would listen to it? You know what I mean? It's a good question, but when a prophet When a prophet, I gotta read this. V'chein im yomar lanu hanavi, shenoda lanu shu navi. We know he's a navi. La'avor al achas min mitzvos amuros b'Torah. O al mitzvos harbe bin kalz b'chumus lafi sha'a. Mitzvah l'shmolo. That doesn't make any sense. I gotta put that in my questions. Rambam, Yesodei HaTorah, chapter 9, verse 3. That doesn't make any sense to me. How many people would ask on this? Chen lamadnu. The sages of early generations taught us as part of the oral tradition, if a prophet tells you to violate the precepts of the Torah, as Elijah did on Mount Carmel, listen to him with regard to all things except the worship of false gods. It's a mitzvah to listen to him to violate one of the mitzvahs of the Torah. Only, not idolatry. But he just said you cannot add or decrease from it. In my opinion, he's contradicting himself. Also, a prophet may command us to do something with us. It says here, if a person will rise and perform a sign on Wednesday that God sent him to either add a mitzvah or subtract a mitzvah, explain. He is not coming to establish a new faith, rather to command people to fulfill precepts of the Torah and warn against the transgression. But now he's saying if a prophet who's established tells you to violate one of them, it's a mitzvah to listen to him. This never happened in the whole diaspora. The whole Gullus in 2,000 years has never once happened. It just seems so abstract. It seems so irrelevant. There was no prophet in all of our 2,000 years of Gullus history that told people, that was a real prophet, that told people to violate mitzvahs, and they did it. You had false prophets, sure. You had Shabtai Tzvi, and they said to do certain areas, eat pork and whatever. But you never had a real prophet in the past 2,000 years. So what is he talking about? When does this ever apply? Again, who am I going to ask this to? You know what I mean? Who's going to listen to this? All right. Anyway, the sages, generations taught as part of the tradition. If a prophet tells you to violate. All right. At that one, I don't get. I'll have to put this in a list of questions. The sages of early when a prophet was already proven himself to be a prophet. I mean, I'm going to copy this and paste it. Maimonides, Yesodei HaTorah, 9:3. When a prophet who has already proven himself to be a prophet instructs us to violate one of the mitzvahs, whether they be Israelite, for a limited amount of time, it is a mitzvah to listen to him. Maimonides, that's good. I can copy that and paste it. The sages of early generations taught as part of the oral tradition, if a prophet tells you to violate the precepts of the Torah, as Elijah did on Mount Carmel, when did he? How did he tell you to violate? Okay, anyway. Listen to him with regard to all things except the worship of false gods. This applies when his command is temporary in nature. For example, on Mount Carmel, Elijah offered a sacrifice outside the temple premises, even though Jerusalem was chosen for such service. And one who offers a sacrifice outside the temple premises is liable for karet. But wait a minute. Elijah came before Solomon's temple. There was no right? Elijah came before the temple. It should have been Shiloh, you're saying. Okay, fine. Mount Carmel, Elijah offered a sacrifice outside the temple's premise, even though Jerusalem was chosen for such service, and one who offers such a sacrifice outside the temple's premise was liable for karet. Since he was already established as a prophet, it was a mitzvah to listen to him. But Elijah didn't tell people to do the sacrifice. He did the sacrifice. Why was it a mitzvah to listen to him? He didn't tell people to do it. He himself did it. The commandment, listen to him, applies in these circumstances as well. It doesn't make sense. So I'll put this in my I'll put this in the 360. Put it in the 360. If you ever, it doesn't really make sense. A list of questions that are hard questions that can go into, okay, if they would have asked Elijah, how can we violate the Torah's command? Deuteronomy 12:13, be careful lest you offer burnt offerings anywhere. He would have told them, it was only stated that anyone who perpetually offers a sacrifice outside the temple premises is liable for it. As Moses said, the present instance, however, is an exception. I am offering a sacrifice today outside the temple at God's command in order to disprove the prophets of Baal. Again, he wasn't commanding. How can the Rambam bring a proof from this case when Elijah was not telling people to do that? He wasn't telling them to do it. He was just doing it himself. And he should revise, I'm saying from logic, if a prophet wants to violate, the only thing you can learn from here is if a prophet, all right? So it's a little bit clunky logic. It's like it's missing some points in my perception. So it'd be nice if someone could explain this. Similarly, if any other prophet commands us to transgress for a limited time, it is mitzvah to listen to him. If, however, he says that the mitzvah has been nullified, however, forever, he is worthy of execution by strangulation. For the Torah has told us, it is for us and our children forever. Similarly, if a prophet nullifies a concept which was transmitted by oral tradition, or states with regard to one of the Torah's laws that God commanded him to render such and such a judgment, or that such and such is law regarding a particular instance, and the decision follows a certain opinion, he is a false prophet and should be executed by strangulation and not by crucifixion. This applies even... No, I added that. This applies even... The Rambam wrote execute by strangulation, but crucifixion is not the punishment for a false prophet. This applies even if he performs a wonder, for he is coming to deny the Torah, of which is stated, it is not in the heavens. If, however, he states that for a limited time we should follow a particular course of behavior, he should be listened to with regard to all things. When does the above apply? With regard to all other mitzvot. Regarding the worship of false gods, whoever prophet should not be listened to, even for a limited time. Even if he performs great wonders and miracles and says that God commanded him to worship false gods only on this day or only during this hour, he is considered to have spoken perversely against God. Concerning this, the Torah has commanded us, in Deuteronomy 13:3-6, if a sign or miracle is performed, and he tells you, let us serve other gods, do not listen to the words of this prophet, for he has spoken perversely against God your Lord. He is coming to deny the prophecy of Moses. Therefore, we may definitely conclude that he is a false prophet, and everything that he did was performed through sorcery and magic. Hence, he should be executed by strangulation. Okay, this is a big question. Okay, wow.